I'm sorry.
Yeah, what is it called?
Gauge?
Gauge, can you make a gauge for shapes that have round parts? I mean, if you're throwing, say, round mugs,
yeah, I mean, if I'm doing a mug, I'll usually set the gauge to the rim because that gives me the height as well as the width.
Right.
You set the gauge to the what?
To the rim,
yeah.
to the top.
Yeah.
Because that gives you the height as well as the diameter.
And the rest is just normal.
Yeah, so if I was doing something else that was, say, more of a rounded shape, I'd probably just still set one gauge, but I'd just judge the rest of it by eye.
I just have to point out that there are a whole lot of little cylinders around here right now. There's a little forest of them.
Okay, so talk about your centering when you're centering something that big.
Well, obviously on a kick wheel like this, it involves a little bit more strength.
Why would it be less?
Mickey,
less strength on an electric wheel?
Mickey, come over, Mickey.
Why would it be less strength needed on an electric wheel?
I'm not talking about your leg. Are you talking about your leg? Or are you talking about your arms?
Well, no, it's as much as anything the leg keeping it going. Didn't know I was going to be doing an international throwing demonstration. So depending on your clay and how hard it is, or how stiff it is, you're going to be, you don't want to have it so stiff that it's hard work, you see. But you don't want it to be so soft that the clay can't hold up its own weight.
I've gotten a lot of correction about that shape before you move out any further. Question right under here about, and they talk about it being a mushroom and not. So it's very different from what you're showing us.
What you mean? You've been told that this is wrong?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have it like that?
Yeah. Which I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just asking what the school of thought is or how you arrived at that.
Oh. I don't know how I arrived at it.
I mean, I guess what I always tell my friends is just pick the things that work and ignore the things that don't.
It's only just going in a little bit at the bottom. It's not like it's really going in. So at the moment I'm just concentrating on the inside of the bottom there, you see.
You most often use the treadle wheel to throw.
I usually do, yeah. So it's pretty much the same, isn't it? Same as before. It's another cylinder. Now, when you're throwing a larger shape, you can use a bit more of your knuckle. Some people will throw it like this, and I do as well sometimes. See that little bit of skin you've got there? A bit of. If you're a duck, you've got a bit of a web here, haven't you? Well, you can put that over there, you see, like that. Get a nice rounded top. So I'm pushing in, grabbing the clay, pulling it up. So we're going to try and do that sort of shape over there, won't we? So you want to keep the top in a bit, don't let the top get wide. What we're going to first of all do is get the clay up somewhat because we're going to distribute the clay. Alright, so that's what you want to do. So we have to do this a little bit in stages, don't we? Spreading the water, you think? Okay.
So you don't have a lot of clay at the bottom, it's all product. Is that right? It's all inside an even wall.
On pots like this, I don't have a lot of clay down the bottom. Just a sort of normal base, you know. And it might be so thick.
But on the sides, like to support the walls, you don't need to have a lot of extra clay at the bottom.
Down here, you mean?
Yeah.
No, really. You just gradually just bring up the clay. You don't want it to get too thin down there, otherwise the thing
Right.
will be starting to buckle.
That was 5 pounds you started with?
It was actually,
A little
I
less.
thought it was 5, but it was 5 times 14. Whatever that is, 5 times 14 ounces.
So 2 times has 10 ounces less than
Couldn't get
contour.
that
There's a
much
little-
out.
a little
That's
less,
clay
but-
if I-
Life dependent on it?
Yes.
So I'm widening it now a bit more,
Can you do that just with pressure?
just
From
from
your
the
hand?
inside. My fingers are on the inside, and my fingers on the outside.
Are you using very gentle pressure on the outside? Very gentle?
Yeah. Check the shape, get the shape right, you see. It's the most important thing at this stage, is the shape. It's not, I'm not making the pot, I'm not thinking about, ooh, Temuku glaze or anything. I'm just thinking about getting the form right. Get the form right first, and worry about other things after. So, I don't want to be going too fast either, you see. See, this is where this wheel is very good, because I can judge the speed.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Give me a moment here. A little bit wobbly up there.
It's shoji mara.
Cleaning away a bit of the slip, because you see the slip will make the pot make the pot soft.
You don't use a metal rib or rubber
He's got that really cool tool that he figured out, that does everything.
I use a metal rib sometimes, like a you mean like a kidney rib?
Yeah.
I do, yeah, sometimes, but not for this. If I was doing like the inside of a plate. So at this stage what I would do is just finish the bottom, because this would, I'd probably just trim this at the base, you see, just to get the, just to pull it in a little bit at the base, just to get the, and to do that I'd either turn it upside down, you see, and tap center it, or put it into a chuck to do that, to trim it. Making a pot, you see, is a struggle, isn't it, sometimes? It's like, it feels like you're wrestling, doesn't it? You ever find that?
Yeah. I thought it didn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that way, but it can be that way. Sometimes it is.
I thought it was because I was a beginner.
Well, yeah, it does get easier, it's true.
That's good news.
Okay, so, and then,
That you're not going to pick up.
pardon me?
You're not going to pick that up.
Not right this minute, I'm not. Probably, I'd probably be advised probably not to pick it up at the minute. If I'd made it on a bat,
Yeah.
I would have just lifted the bat and lifted the whole thing. It's not to say one couldn't lift it. If you put a piece of newspaper over that, I could probably lift it, but it'll probably indent it a bit. So to keep the nice shape, I'll probably just leave it as it is for the minute.
So then if it gets, I mean, if it just gets a little bit settled, then you can pick it up.
Yeah, I could probably by the end of
today.
today or the end of the afternoon, I could probably, or if I got my torch and just, I could actually lift that off without too much of a problem.
Right.
Bravo.
Back to my 14 ounce.
I don't know if we did actually manage to. If we did do that, didn't we? It hasn't got much down there, actually.
Can I look? You just put a chip in it.
I think I knocked it with a.
Yep, you did. It's coming around. See?
Yeah, that's easy to make, wouldn't it?
If you're Simon.
Well, we all make nicks in pots and put holes in them. And if you get a little hole in the side of a pot like that, don't try and mess with it now. Wait for it to get like leather hard, and then just take a little piece of clay and just. Best to deal with it then. If it's too soft now, don't touch that now. You will make a mess of it. Let that just go a bit harder, stiffer. Take a little putty knife and a little bit of clay. Just. It's done. N'est-ce pas, Mika? Ken.
Very nice.
Ken?
כן, כן, כן. תודה רבה. It was amazing.